Hey guys, what's up? So in this video, we'll be seeing how to create a hotfix or a quick fix to an existing Flutter library which is already published. And let's say you want to make some change to it or use a change that is being already raised as a pull request to it, but it is not part of the actual library or the pull request has not been merged yet. So let's see how to do that real quick. So without further ado, let's get started. So here I have an empty new Flutter project, okay? And here I have a sample library which is already published. For example, traditionally what we do is we'll just copy this, we'll go to the pubspec.yaml, and under the dependencies, we are gonna just add this. So, and if I do pubget, you can see that it has added or downloaded that particular library so that you can start using it. Now let's say due to some Flutter related changes or the SDK related changes, or if you found some bug in this particular library and you want to use this library but you want to give an add-on fix to it, we'll see how to do that. You could just go to the pubdev page of the particular Flutter library. If you scroll down, you could see the repository. Now it's going to take you to the actual repository, but thing is that you found a particular issue with it or you want to make some changes to it, or if you go to the pull request you could see someone else has already raised a particular fix that you want. For example, fix for 3.27 Flutter version 3.27 is already available here and it is not part of the actual library yet. So somebody or the author of this particular library has to accept and merge this PR to make it part of the actual library. Or you may have some fix that you want to contribute to the project and you want to also use it in your project temporarily until these changes of yours get published or merged. So how do you do that? So you can just go to the repo, go to the fork and create a new fork. You could just leave everything as default. So now you actually have a separate repository, which is the fork of the existing repository that was actually published. So you have everything from that, the actual library. Now, for the simplicity, I can just go to edit the URL to .dev instead of .com so that it would use a GitHub inbuilt Visual Studio editor so that I can make some changes and play around. So I'll just say my changes aren't tested. Okay, I'm just making a dummy change. Let's say dummy change, and then I'm gonna push it to my copy of it. So now if I go back, I haven't made change in the actual repository of the library. Instead, I made a fork of it and then I made the changes whichever I want. You can usually just clone it as a normal repository onto your desktop machine and then play around with it and make changes and push it to your particular forked repository. And once you think your changes are valid and it should be part of the actual library, you can just click on contribute and create a pull request, which will create a pull request in the actual libraries repository, which then will be evaluated by the actual author of the repository if they like your changes and if they are okay with the changes and if it is meeting all their criteria and standards, they will actually merge it and it will become part of the actual library itself. But instead, let's say you are keeping it as a pull request itself and you want it to be part of your project at least for the time being, what you can do is you can just go over here, copy this particular Git URL and then come to your pubspec.yaml. So there you can remove this particular version and then you can just put git colon and then you can specify the URL and then put the URL that you copied, just remove .git, doesn't really matter, put a space here, then you can use the tag. For example, here this is the change that you want to pull in, right? Because this is the forked repo, this is my username, I forked it and I'm making my own custom changes to it. And then within my change I could have multiple branches. So if you want to specify a branch or a tag, here in my case it will be main, you can just use main. Or let's say you can go to the actual repo itself. This is the actual repo that is published as the library. You can go to pull request and let's say somebody has already created the fix that you want or desire. You could just open the pull request and then you can just click over here. This is the changes or the changes that they have done for the particular pull request. This is the actual repo and this is the changes that they have made to raise this pull request. So you can click on this. This will take you to a different repo because like you, somebody has actually forked that repo. You can see it is also a fork from the actual repo, and then made the changes to make it work. Okay, and it is also in the main branch, and they have done a contribution as a pull request there. So now let's say the actual library haven't merged their changes and want this particular changes to fix the issue that you're facing in your Flutter project. All you have to do is just go over here, copy this link, and follow the same procedure. You can just give the URL to whichever URL you want. For example, it will be in this case this one, and then you can use the tag or the branch name. Then if you do pub get, now you can see that earlier it was 0.1.0. Now it is actually pulling from this particular repo, and also it is pointing to this particular commit. That is nothing. In my case, if I go to this repo, you can see this is the commit ID E425C92, and that is the exact commit that is being pulled here. So this way you can actually use an existing repo and make changes to it. If you want, you can contribute, or you can just use it directly in your project without any issues. The reason why I made this video, even though my channel is not basically on Flutter, I am also a Flutter developer. When I usually encounter these issues during the development where I face issues with an existing library and I could see someone else would have fixed it and I just want that particular fix in my project, I thought this is a handy thing and I thought to make a video on it. That is the only reason I'm making this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.